If you have a service, a story, or a product that helps people, and you're not making yourself visible to those people are going to go hire someone else that's not as good as you and doesn't care as much as you simply because you're too insecure about being seen. You care too much about what other people think. You care too much about being rejected. You care too much about what it all looks like. So you're not putting yourself out there. But in the meantime, other people are that maybe aren't as great as you and don't care as much as you. And those people that so desperately need your help or need to buy your products or services in order to become more successful, in order to thrive, aren't going to get that gift of you. It is actually your responsibility to be visible so that those people can find you.
Welcome to the Raquel Show. This show is for entrepreneurs who want to play bigger in business and in life. And today I have a very special guest who I actually met at a women's event before the pandemic and also spoke in our mastermind to our ladies who attended Turks and Caicos, a retreat that we had many years ago. And some of you have seen her on stages. She's spoken, she's a powerhouse. She's spoken with some of the biggest names like Gary Vee, Snoop Dogg, Martha Stewart, and she's a thought leader when it comes to PR, brand, and visibility. And I'm excited to have this conversation today. So welcome to the show, Jen Gottlieb.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited that you're here, and I'm going to get right into it. Our community is filled with tons of entrepreneurs, especially in the real estate space, or people that have a business online. And one of your superpowers is to teach business owners of how to build profitable brands. How important is building a brand to a business today?
It's everything. If you think about brand in general, brand is why we buy. Think about why you will buy a pair of Nikes over a pair of just whatever shoe that doesn't have any kind of Nike swoosh on it. We will spend more money to buy a Nike, not because Nike got on the phone and did a great sales call, not because Nike just jammed all of the Facebook ads down our throat, but because we love the brand and we resonate with the brand Nike, or even Apple, any of the biggest brands that you can think about. It's they spend all of their money, all their time building brand because we feel connected to that brand, and that's why we purchase. Nowadays, your biggest and best investment as a human being on this planet, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're building a totally separate business, or maybe even you have a 9 to 5, or maybe even you just have a hobby, is you want to build your personal brand or your visibility brand or how you want to be seen to the world, because that is an investment in your future. If you want to one day start a company years from now, or maybe you sold your company and you want to build another one, that audience that you build based around the brand that you created is going to follow you wherever you go. And that audience, that's value right there, because they will buy whatever you sell. And we can do that for free online right now. Why not?
So good. And so many nuggets dropped. So how would somebody, if somebody's like even pivoting on their brand, what tips, what advice would you give to somebody that, can build a strong brand in today's market?
Well, there's two types of brands that you want to think about building. Are you building your personal brand, or are you building a brand for your business? Because some people are like, I don't want to be the brand. I don't want to be the face. I want my company to be the face. And I would go as far as to say that if you are building a company, you still want to build a brand alongside that company. But let's talk about the personal brand on its own first before we talk about the company brand. So I've seen a lot of thought leaders, like major entrepreneurs, big time people that build massive multi-million-dollar businesses that end up selling for a lot of money. They exit their company, and because they didn't build a personal brand alongside while doing that, they exited their company and then they have no audience. And then raising money again to build another company or doing something else is a lot more difficult because they don't already have that built-in audience. They don't have that brand. Whereas I've seen a lot of thought leaders as well in the other way, entrepreneurs, business builders, create businesses, also have a personal brand, exit the company, and then they have this huge audience, this great brand of people that just love them and follow them with whatever they do. And they're able to have success raising money. They're able to have success building a business very quickly because they built that brand. So if someone just wants to get started, it's super, super easy. You don't need a perfect camera or perfect fonts or logos or colors. We all have our own personal brand already built in, because your personal brand is just who you are as a human. What do you enjoy? What are you really good at? What's your favorite thing to talk about? And I think entrepreneurs get in the weeds with their branding and they actually stop themselves from putting themselves out there because they think that they need it to be perfect. It has to be totally in alignment. The brand messaging has to be exact. I can only talk about this thing. I can only talk about it this way. But the cool thing about being a human is that we're multifaceted. We all have different hobbies. We all have different cool things that we do. And while there's maybe millions of other real estate professionals out there, there's only one Raquel with the interest that Raquel has and the story that Raquel has and the podcast that you have and the unique things about your life that are unique to only you. And there's going to be people out there that only connect to Raquel and not another real estate professional or podcaster because they find out things about your life that make you different and unique. So your personal brand is you as a human being. It's not perfect messaging. It's not perfect colors. It's not perfect storytelling. It is being you. So what do you enjoy? What platforms do you enjoy being on? And then how do you enjoy communicating your story, your life message, your hobbies, your expertise to the world? Do you like writing? Do you like video? Do you like audio? Pick something that you enjoy so that you actually do it and then go and do that thing. And the more you do it and the more consistently you show up, the easier it will become. And the more you'll see where your audience leans in and the more the brand will build on its own. But it's super easy. Make it personal. Be who you are.
I love it. So let's go to the flip side. Where do you see, you help a lot of companies, you help a lot of brands, you're behind some of the biggest names out there. Where do you see entrepreneurs make mistakes when it comes to visibility or brand?
So when you're talking about maybe building a brand for a company and creating that brand messaging, yeah, I think that first of all, I think that people get really stuck with perfectionism. And even when building a company brand, I think perfect is completely overrated. And I don't even think I know this for me as a consumer. I like to consume products and services, and I like to follow companies that I can connect with on a human level. The more vulnerable, authentic, real a brand can communicate to me, the more connected I feel to them and the more that I want to purchase the products or hire the person because I feel like, oh, they're just like me, or I could see myself in that, or they're real. I think the further away you get from the customer and the more perfect you make everything look and the more inauthentic you are, where you're just like, it's like very, very filtered. It's very too professional. It's not telling any kind of a story that actually connects to the heart. It's really just saying everything's fantastic and great and doing what everybody else is doing. I think that's where people get into trouble. It's actually the opposite of what you think. I truly do believe that your mess is your message or your start is your story, whether you're talking about a big company and a big business and a big brand or a personal brand. People like to buy from people that they can connect to, that they can see themselves in, that they feel like, oh, she's just like me, or he's just like me, or I like that brand because I'm that vibe, or I like that story of that person, and that person wears that brand, or that person engages with that's my kind of person because I've got a similar story to that. That's my personal form of breakdown. It's just like that one. And so the more that you can share the realness, that's why influencer marketing is so good right now. It's blowing up and people aren't even really spending a lot of money on commercials anymore on TV. They're spending their money with influencer marketing. Why? Because these influencers are real and they pick up the camera and they talk to people in their kitchen and in their bathroom while they're doing their makeup and walking down the street with their dogs and with their kids and in the mess of it and being in their real life and using the products in a story of their real life. And people connect to that. And that's where brand is built: connection, authenticity, and vulnerability.
And if you guys don't follow Jen, she does a Getting Ready with Jen live. And I absolutely love it because you almost feel like you are getting ready with her, even when we are getting ready together. And you're just,
we are.
Yeah. And it's just so authentic. And you couldn't have nailed it any more than what you just said. Is like when you can show the other side of not being perfect is when people actually connect. So you've got a book coming out called Be Seen. What inspired you to write the book?
There were a lot of things going into writing a book. First of all, I never thought I was going to write a book. What's very ironic is I had a vision board ages ago that had New York Times bestselling author on the vision board, but I put it up there because I felt like I should. I actually would read it every day and say, I don't want to be an author though. I don't want to write a book. I'm good. That's a big project. I don't want to do that. And it's really funny. I remember the day that I decided to write a book, and it's actually in the introduction to my book. And this is a crazy story that I don't talk about on a lot of podcasts, but I actually don't even think I've told this story ever other than in the introduction of my book. So here you go. I'm going to tell you this story. I was with my husband on a beautiful Saturday in the city, and we were going for a walk, and we were downtown in the West Village. And I was feeling very stuck that day. I was feeling like I just don't know what the next step is for me. I'm feeling like I'm at a halt, like things are just aren't flowing. I'm not getting the momentum. I'm not feeling like I'm growing at all. It was just a bad day. Whenever I'm having days like that, we go for walks because walks tend to fix a lot of things. So we're walking and we walk past this psychic in the West Village, like this little office that says psychic readings. And Raquel, I've never gotten a psychic reading for a very important reason. I don't want anyone to tell me something bad is going to happen in my life. And then I worry about it and accidentally manifest it into my existence. And I'm like, I'm good. I don't need a psychic to tell me anything. But my husband, Chris, is like, we should just do it. It might be fun. Like, why not? Let's just like dare of the day. Come on, walk it. Let's do it. And I'm like, oh my God, fine. So I'm going to get my very first psychic reading ever. Never in my life have I done this before. I walk in, I sit down, I tell this woman nothing. She knows nothing about me. She pulls out all these cards and she starts doing all this stuff. And I'm like rolling my eyes. I'm like, this is so dumb. And she looks at me and she goes, you're going to be unbelievably successful on a global scale, but you need to be seen. And I'm like, lady, that's exactly what I do for a living. You're crazy. I'm so seen. I'm seen. I own a PR agency. I help people be seen. Look, I've got a course called the Be Seen Accelerator. This is what I do. She's like, I don't know. Don't ask. But all I'm seeing is that there's something up here and you need to be seen. All that's coming to me is be seen, be seen, be seen, be seen. And I'm like, okay, that's it. And she's like, yeah, be seen. Everything will work out for you if you just be seen. And I leave and I was up all night tossing and turning because at that point in my life, I was being seen, but I wasn't. I still had a guard up. I still had a filter up. I was still doing what we were just talking about, where it was like posting the perfectness, the prettiness, like the everything's greatness, not really. There was no putting on my makeup in front of people every single morning happening at that time. Zero. That would have never happened at that time. And I woke up and I was like, oh my God. I turned to my husband, Chris. I'm like, I need to write a book. I need to be seen. And I know that that will force me to do it. And that was the moment that I decided and I went right into action, starting writing this book. I did not know the name of the book was Be Seen. In fact, it had a different title, completely different. My proposal was bought by my publisher with a completely different title. This is crazy. I met with a group of girlfriends in the city for like a book launch masterminding little thing. We did the four of us. It was like Gabby Bernstein, Marie Forleo, Amy Porterfield, and Chris Carr. We all were together and sitting there. And I told them the name of what my book was. And I hated the name. I was like, I don't like this name, but this is the name of my book. They're like, you're right. That's not the name of your book, Jen. I'm like, I know, but I can't change it now. Like they bought the proposal. This is it. And I think it was Gabby who actually wrote the foreword. I'm pretty sure it was her. She goes, Jen, what do you help people do? And I was like, I help people be seen. And she's like, that's the name of your book. And I was like, oh my God, wait. And then all of a sudden I was like, the psychic, holy crap, be seen. That's the name of the book. Of course. That was why I wrote the book. That's the name. That's the psychic. It all makes sense. And then once that all of those dots connected, it was on. It all made sense. The four parts of the book are all about being courageous enough. First part, be courageous to find who you truly are, move through fear so that you can really be seen as your most authentic self and stop hiding, which is what I was doing for years and years and years. And then the second part is be creative so you can create the U 2.0 version of yourself to be seen as. And then part three is be connected so you can find the people that will lift you up and help you get there and see you so you can be seen by somebody who actually believes in you. And then part four is be visible. And that's where all the strategies come into play, how to build your brand, how to get your messaging right, how to do everything that we just talked about earlier here. And it all just kind of came together. But there was a lot of serendipitous moments in the production of this book. And I've never told that story before. So there you go.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of those moments in your life because I've heard you speak, right? And there couldn't have been a better title that was more fitting for Jen's book, Be Seen. So talking about being seen, talking about being visible, why is being visible so important for entrepreneurs today in today's landscape?
If the people that you can help can't find you, they're going to hire someone else. It's very, very simple. If you have a service, a story, or a product that helps people, and you're not making yourself visible to those people, those people are going to go hire someone else that's not as good as you and doesn't care as much as you simply because you're too insecure about being seen. You care too much about what other people think. You care too much about being rejected. You care too much about what it all looks like. So you're not putting yourself out there. But in the meantime, other people are that maybe aren't as great as you and don't care as much as you. And those people that so desperately need your help or need to buy your products or services in order to become more successful, in order to thrive, aren't going to get that gift of you. It is actually your responsibility to be visible so that those people can find you. I think about so many people who had to be visible for me to get to where I am. So many people, huge people that inspired me, like Oprah Winfrey, like she had such an impact in my life, or even podcast hosts. Like my good friend Lori Harder, her was one of the first podcasts I ever listened to. Lewis Howes, one of the first podcasts I ever listened to, got me to a personal development event that changed my entire life. If those people didn't decide one day to be visible and put content out there on the internet like what you're doing, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah. What would you say to that person that is afraid to get out of that perfection zone, afraid to show up sometimes, especially when there's challenging times? We've got real
Yeah.
estate's taken a turn, interest rates are really high, right? And some people don't always feel like showing up every day.
Yeah, I get it. We don't feel like going to the gym every day, do we? We don't feel like getting up in the morning every day, do we? We don't feel like doing a lot of stuff that we have to do. So the first thing is what I've learned from studying very, very successful people, getting the opportunity to hang out with a lot of really successful people and asking them how they got to where they are. It really is all about discipline and being able to be really freaking uncomfortable and being able to do things with fear and discomfort there anyway. Because the more that you practice doing things with fear in the passenger seat of the car, with discomfort there, allowing yourself to be uncomfortable, allowing yourself to be fearful, but get to the other side of that moment, you become more confident. And then other uncomfortable things do not become that uncomfortable anymore. The best way to move through fear is to do the thing that you're afraid to do. So, do you think that I was completely comfortable going on Instagram Live with no makeup on for the first time? Did I want to do that? No. But I knew that it would be good for me. And I knew that I would grow if I did it. And I knew it was the thing that I was scared to do. So I knew that I had to. So the more that I did it, the more confident that I became. And here's a big, good takeaway tip that everybody can use when, if you don't feel like showing up, which is often for me, sometimes I just don't feel like going and showing up and being on camera. But usually the reason for that is because I'm worried about myself. I'm thinking about what I feel like in the moment, or what I sound like, or what I look like, or if I'm going to be judged, or if people are going to like what I have to say. When really we're creating content not for us, not because it's about us, it's for somebody else. It's for the other person on the other side of the phone that needs to hear the message. And so if you stop thinking about you and you focus on helping one person, we call it hope, help one person every day and just talk to that person. You're not afraid anymore because it's not about you. Because we don't get afraid when our friend calls us and we just pour into them and we have to help them. No, we don't forget the words. We don't not want to do it. We just can't wait to help them. So get into the mode of, all right, I'm helping someone right now. I'm talking to one person. When I get on stage and I'm petrified to get on stage, or I'm really nervous, or I don't feel like it, or I'm not in the zone, or maybe I just had a stomach issue and I'm like, oh my God, that's the last thing I want to do. I think about my one girl who's sitting in that audience that I know that when I get up there and I speak, whether I suck or I'm great, something up there that I did inspired her to go do something a little differently that day that could change her life. And I just think about her and I talk to her, and it always helps me feel better.
Oh, so many good nuggets in that. And my question to you, Jen, is if you lost everything, let's say you had to start
Mm,
over, what would
yeah.
be like 3 tips that you would do, knowing what you know today, knowing that you've been in this PR space, knowing that you've helped so many people create visibility and brand? What would be 3 tips to create visibility, knowing what you know today, if you had to start over? What would you do?
Well, I've had to start over and I didn't have this knowledge. I connect with people. So number one, it's always people. Opportunities come from people. Always. Connections and relationships are key. Why there's an entire portion on the book all about connection, all about humans. And instead of thinking about what you can get from people, get up every day and think about how can I provide value to other people? How can you help? The more you show up and help people and stay really, really, really in tune with your true relationships and provide value to them consistently and show up for other people, the more goodness that will come into your life, the more opportunity will come into your life. Full stop. That's number one. Number two, create consistent content on social media every single day, no matter what. No matter what. No matter what. I don't care if no one's watching. I don't care if you're not getting any engagement. You create consistent content that provides value to someone every day. Not because of necessarily the people that are going to randomly find you, not because of the people that are going to randomly scroll by you on the internet, but because when you get an opportunity, your social media platform is almost like your online resume. And so someone needs to go get credibility from you. They need to be able to trust you. The first thing that somebody does after they've met you, or they're deciding if they want to work with you or not, or they're deciding they want to hire you, they go on social and they look at your content and they see if you're any good at what you do or if you're a credible person. If you have content, if you have case studies, if you have testimonials, if you are an expert in your space. So if you haven't started creating content and you don't have lots and lots and lots of stuff up there, someone's going to go hire somebody else that does, because they've got credibility, influence, and authority. So number one, I would make relationships and connect with people and provide value to people every single day. Number two, I would be creating consistent content on all the social platforms all of the time. And that's free. You don't need to spend any money to do that. You don't need to spend any money to do either of those two things. And then the third thing that I would do would be all about health. And I would make sure that I sleep, and I would make sure that I move my body and eat clean food, because if you don't have your health, you can't do anything. So that is unbelievably important. That probably like skirts into number one, because you can't do number two and number three, or you can't do the connecting and you can't do the posting and the content without having your health. And you are also won't be in a great mindset if you don't have your physical health. So my physical health comes before my mental health, because my mental health is a reaction to my physical health. So sleeping and treating my body nicely, moving my body, working out, and eating healthy foods is a non-negotiable for me as well.
I love that you started with relationships. I always tell all of our clients, our community, our mastermind people, that it's really the relationships that will get you very far in life. It's never the strategy, right?
Never.
And like having, I mean, it's a portion of it, but really when I look back at my time and 20 years in the business and in real estate, it's like, it was one connection, one door that got opened that kept me moving along. So as you look back, what's one lesson that you wish you would have learned sooner?
That I wish I would have learned sooner would probably have been stop caring what other people on the internet think about how perfect your shit is that you put out there. I think that I held back for a really long time because I was afraid to post something that was a little less than perfect. And because of that, I could be a lot further along now, because I waited so long to consistently put out content. I wish I would have been consistently putting out content lots of years before I started. And I know that the thing that held me back was fear of what other people would think of me, fear of what my high school friends would think of me, or my family would think of me, or like random people on the internet. Who is they anyway? I don't even know. I don't even know who I was so worried about. And the thing is that those people aren't even paying attention. They're worried about themselves. They're not even thinking about you. And so you're holding yourself back and you're not becoming successful because of someone random. And by the way, like, people who do, like, who are going to be successful, they go do the thing. And people that can't do, they just talk crap. So anyone that's talking crap about you on the internet, or judging you, or saying you can't do this, or trying to bring you down, is somebody that just simply is hurting, or they're in their own pain, or they can't do the thing. So they're angry about it. No one that's more successful than you is going to judge what you're doing. In fact, I know that for sure, because all the people that I look up to that are way more successful than me, they're always the most supportive of me, because they understand that there is absolutely really no such thing as competition. There really isn't. You can create competition in your mind to help you be more successful if you're a competitive person, but really you're not competing against anybody. There's plenty to go around. You succeeding takes absolutely nothing away from me, and me succeeding takes absolutely nothing away from you. In fact, if I try to lift you up and you become more successful in some way, shape, or form, it will actually in tandem, eventually at one point in time, make me more successful, because I was able to lift you up, because I'm sure I would have done something in that moment in time that would create some kind of karma or law of reciprocity that you would want to give back to me. So helping other people succeed and being really supportive of people actually energetically and tactically helps you. So I was an actress. So I was in this really weird mindset of scarcity and competitiveness and competition, and worried about people judging me for not being perfect. And I would have just said, Jen, none of that stuff matters. Go show up and help people. None of that stuff.
What she said was that perfect ripple effect. You help somebody and there's a ripple effect that goes on, and it's beyond measure. And it comes from having an abundance mindset. And that's how we all grow, right? What's next for Jen?
Well, the book for sure. So hopefully when this comes out, the book is out. You can go get it. It's called Be Seen. It's a great book. I'm very excited about it. I'm mostly excited for people to read it and start to implement and start to shift and start to really be seen. And I can't wait to see what happens as a result of that. It's really exciting for me. And I'm really excited about a lot of stuff. I'm really excited about speaking. I love speaking. I love it more than anything. My favorite place in the world is on stage. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm an introvert whose favorite place in the world is on a stage. And so there's lots of speaking in the works for me, lots of events that we're doing. And we're really excited about artificial intelligence as well. And starting to incorporate that into our business and content creation, teaching people how to use it is very, very, very exciting to me. I think we're in a really, really cool time in the world where we have access to this mind-blowing technology that's just going to consistently grow. And what like better opportunity to have creative ideas than to talk to ChatGPT about it. We don't even have an excuse anymore to not be seen. It's like we can't say we don't know what to say because we have a writing partner right there for us, a co-creator right there for us. It's very cool. I'm very excited about that.
So true. Where can people connect with you? Where can people, and we'll put it also in the show notes, where can people buy your book?
Go to beseenbook.com. Go there, buy the book wherever you want to buy it. Buy one for you and one for a friend so you can read it together, or buy one for you and donate one to somebody that can't get their own or somebody in need. And then put your order confirmation into the area on beseenbook.com and you will get goodies and gifts from me. And that's it. And Instagram. But go to beseenbook.com, get the book.
Amazing. And I'm sure that we will also be giving her book away to some of our people that are listening to this episode. So make sure you check her out, follow her, go to Be Seen, and we will put everything in the show notes. As we wrap up, there's always one question that I ask every guest that comes on the show is, what does Jen do to play bigger in business or in life?
Great question. I do a lot of things to play bigger. All right. I stick to the commitments that I make with myself no matter what, because I truly believe that confidence is built over time by consistently sticking to your own commitments that you make with you. And so every day I wake up, I make a few commitments with myself. And at night, I check them off the list and I say to myself, good job, Jenny, you stuck to your commitments. Because every time that you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, and you let fear get in the way, or you let discomfort get in the way, or you let whatever it is get in the way, insert whatever the hell the thing is that gets in the way of you doing the thing that you know you need to do. Every time you don't do the thing you say you're going to do, you lose confidence in yourself and trust in yourself that you can do hard things. But every time you say you're going to do something and you follow through, even if it's scary or painful or uncomfortable, and you understand that all of that discomfort is only temporary and you can become a stronger, better person on the other side, you gain more confidence when you get to the other side. So the way that I play big is every single day, I stick to the commitments that I make with myself, no matter what, no matter how hard or uncomfortable they are. And every day I'm proving to myself that I'm more capable than I thought.
So good. I want to thank you, Jen, for being on our show. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And we cannot wait to support your book, Be Seen.
You're amazing. Thank you so much for having me.